In this video, we'll walk through OFAC's new online reconsideration portal screen by screen. You will see how to ask OFAC to remove you, your organization, or your property from a sanctions list, or to request the information underlying your designation. First, what is the Reconsideration Portal? If you, your company, or your property have been placed on one of OFAC's sanctions lists, such as the Specially Designated Nationals and Blocked Persons list, known as the SDN list, you have the right to ask OFAC to reconsider that decision. The legal basis for this process is a regulation found at 31 CFR Section 501.807. OFAC has now consolidated this into a single online form called the Reconsideration Request Form, accessed through the Reconsideration Portal. Two important points before we begin. First, this portal is used for two different kinds of requests, and you'll choose between them inside the form. Number 1, a reconsideration request, also called a delisting petition. This is where you ask OFAC to remove you or your property from a sanctions list. Number 2, a courtesy document request. A courtesy document is a list of sources that identifies the unclassified information OFAC relied on to add a person or property to a sanctions list. In other words, it lets you see, at the unclassified level, the basis for your designation. Some information may be redacted because it's classified, privileged, law enforcement sensitive, or otherwise protected. Requesting a courtesy document is a separate request from a delisting petition. And importantly, if you want both, you must submit 2 separate requests through the portal. Second, this process is available to anyone on an OFAC list regardless of what type of listing it is. As you'll see on the very first screen, the portal lets you choose among 4 listing types: an individual, an entity, a vessel, or an aircraft. One quick caveat, this process is only for persons or property that actually appear on an OFAC list. If you've simply been mistaken for a sanctioned person, for example, because your name is a close match to someone on the list, you should not file here. Instead, contact OFAC's compliance hotline. Now let's walk through the form itself. The portal opens on a Before You Begin page that tells you the form takes about an hour and lists what you'll need: your OFAC listing information and unique ID, government identification documents, addresses used in the last 5 years, proof of authorization if you're filing for someone else, your arguments and evidence, and any proposed remedial steps. When you're ready, you click Start. Step 1 is basic information. This is where you tell OFAC which listing you're talking about. You'll first pick your listing type from a drop-down again: individual, entity, vessel, or aircraft, and the fields below will change based on what you select. For all types, you'll enter the OFAC unique ID. You can find this using OFAC's Sanctions List search tool. It's the numeric string at the very end of the web address for your listing, right after the text ID equals. Once you select the listing type, the type-specific fields appear. For an individual, you'll enter first, middle, and last name. For an entity, the entity name. For a vessel, the IMO number and the vessel's current name and name as sanctioned. But for an aircraft, the tail number and serial number. You'll also enter the date of designation, or, for vessels and aircraft, the date of identification. Finally, this screen asks whether you're making the request for yourself or on behalf of someone else. You'll select either I am the listed person or owner of a listed property with proof of ownership, or I am making this request on behalf of a listed person or property which requires proof of ownership or authorization. Then you click Next. Step 2 is contact information. Here you provide contact details for the listed person or the owner of the listed property: email addresses, phone number, and mailing address. This page also has a proof of identity section where you upload an official government ID. If you're filing as an authorized representative, the form adds an authorized representative contact information section for your own details. This page also has a proof of authorization upload section where you provide your retainer letter or power of attorney and an official ID of any natural person you represent, or official authorization documents for the any non-natural person you represent. Step 3 is request type. This is the key choice we mentioned earlier. You'll select one of 2 options: reconsideration, meaning you're requesting removal from an OFAC list, or courtesy document, meaning you're requesting the information underlying an OFAC action. The screen reminds you that to request both reconsideration and a courtesy document, you must submit 2 separate requests. Step 4 is identifying information. This section adapts to your listing type and asks for fuller identifying details. For a listed individual, you'll provide biographical details, full name, other names used, date and place of birth, then primary identification details like ID type and number, place and date of issue, and expiration date. You'll add the individual's primary and any secondary addresses, and additional identification, nationality, and residency details covering the previous 5 years, including passports, residency statuses, second homes, and locations of any vessels or property. For a listed entity, you will provide the entity name, any alternate name, and corporate identifying numbers, physical address details, and registration documents. Vessels and aircraft have their own corresponding identifying fields. Step 5 is the reason for request for removal. This is where you explain why the listing should be removed. OFAC instructs you to include only arguments made pursuant to 31 CFR Section 501807 and warns that submitting other arguments or information may extend OFAC's review time. The form asks you 2 yes or no questions that correspond to the 2 recognized justifications. The first question asks, are you alleging that there is an insufficient basis for the sanction? An insufficient basis argument shows that at the time of the sanction there was no valid basis for it. For instance, mistaken identity, or a person who had already resigned, or an entity that had already dissolved before the sanction was imposed. The second question asks, are you alleging that the circumstances resulting in the sanction no longer apply? This is a change in circumstances argument, showing that after the sanction you took steps to remove its basis, such as resigning a position, dissolving a listed entity, or ceasing the sanctioned activity. OFAC cautions that if you plan to divest or transfer assets, you should coordinate with OFAC in advance. Note also that you may propose remedial steps, but those are not a substitute for an actual change in circumstances. At the bottom, there's an Upload Supporting Documents section where you attach any documents related to your arguments. For this section, each file must be 30 megabytes or smaller and in an accepted format. And for any document not in English, you provide both the original language document and an English translation. One critical point at this stage: if you were sanctioned under multiple authorities, your petition must address every one of them. If you are designated under 2 executive orders, you need to meet the removal criteria for both. The same is true if you were sanctioned under multiple criteria within a single authority. The final step is the review summary. Here you review everything before submitting. OFAC recommends you print this page for your records. After you submit, you'll receive an email confirmation containing a unique OFAC-assigned request reference ID for tracking. Note that this reference ID is not an OFAC case ID. You'll receive a case ID only after OFAC reviews your submission and confirms it's complete. And if you haven't received a case ID or a request for additional information after 10 business days, you should contact OFAC. So, what happens after you file your petition with OFAC? Within 7 to 10 business days, OFAC does an initial review to check if your submission is complete. If complete, they email you a petition ID. If not, they'll contact you for missing info. Once they assign that petition ID, OFAC begins its full review and reinvestigation. The timeline varies based on case facts, submission quality, response speed, and agency consultations. During that review, OFAC may send you questionnaires, each with a response deadline. Respond promptly and truthfully. If you need more time, request an extension before the deadline. Failing to respond or answering falsely can result in denial. In the end, your petition will be granted or denied based on the review. If granted, you'll be removed from the list and notified, with delisting published publicly. If denied, you'll get a determination letter and can file again only with new evidence. For many individuals and companies, the delisting process can feel overwhelming. Ferrari Associates concentrates on U.S. economic sanctions and regularly prepares and files delisting petitions for clients across the globe. If you've been designated and want to seek removal from an OFAC sanctions list, reach out to our Washington, D.C. team or visit FerrariAssociatesPC.com.